Welcome, everyone. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Tuesday night. I am just trying to get to my page here. Tonight, I'm Ash with TC Spotlight Talk. So tonight we're going to talk about, if I can get to it, there we go. I'm sorry, we're going to talk about Traci Pittman Kegley. But before, I just ask everybody to read the banner below. I make no accusations. This is just strictly informational. Please, if you are reading this or listening to this and you think that you may have something very useful to contribute to Traci's case, please, we just don't ask. Just don't make it public. Do it as privately as possible. I will have everywhere you can go to give those leads or tips to. I've been following a group for Traci, and I will share that. It's posted in the description. But yeah, tonight, now that we got that out of the way, tonight I want to talk about missing mom Traci Pittman Kegley. She was last seen April 26, 1998 from Elmore County. I want to switch over here real quick. She was missing from, here we go, from Elmore County. I just wanted to get that off here because I kind of want to show you around as I go through this description and give you guys a nice little view of the area. Okay. So it was 23 years ago, guys. In April, this coming April, it'll be 24 years, and her parents and her family and everybody are just looking for some answers. So Traci was last seen at a BP gas station near the intersection of northbound Highway 231 and Redland Road in Elmore County, Alabama, during afternoon hours of April 26, 1998. Now, Traci's white 1993 Geostorm was discovered abandoned along a road known as Old Georgia Road. It is actually Road 170, I believe, and we'll zoom in. It is up by Wetumpka. So Old Georgia Road, this is Wetumpka area, and Old Georgia Road would be this road here that I'm following, which is also 170. So that around this area is where her car was found. Again, it was a 1993 Geostorm. It was abandoned along Old Georgia Road, a secluded road in Wetumpka, Alabama. Her car was found the following morning. So she was out during the afternoon hours on the 26th of April, and then her car was found the following morning. A driver passing by just happened to see her car and was suspicious enough to go forward, and he noticed inside that her 2-year-old daughter had been left inside the car. She was unharmed. Traci's personal belongings, including her purse and her identification, were recovered at the scene, and she has never been heard from since. Just 16 days prior to her disappearance, Traci's divorce was made final. She had separated from her husband early on in 1998, and she had gone to stay with her mother in Eclectic. And right here's Eclectic. So we have the BP, we have where her car was found, the general area, and then this is where it's roughly 32 miles. That's where she moved after her and her husband separated. She was a trained phlebotomist working out of Montgomery, Alabama. She had actually had an interview and was due to take a job working out of a dental office in Montgomery. And she was actually scheduled to start the day after she disappeared. So she was very excited. It must have been an exciting time for what she was going through at the time. She moved closer to Electric, I'm sure, to be closer to her mother, which is what I'm sure many can relate to. And she was just trying to secure her future. So she was going to take a job. She actually got the job on the spot. So she was supposed to start there the day after she vanished. Kegley's loved ones and her family believe that foul play was involved. It is very, very uncharacteristic for her to abandon her child, let alone leave her unsupervised at any time. So this isn't just a situation where she would just disappear. She didn't have a car. She didn't have anything. There have been the Ellie has been very tight-lipped about a lot of details in the case. Again, it has been 23 years, and there's just not a lot. I mean, there is a lot of information, and I respect them. They have seemed to, work the case. But after 23 years, I have not seen anything that has come about, any new information. If there is, they are being very tight-lipped, as they've always been. There's not really a timeline. I think they have been really tight-lipped on that too, as far as I've been seeing. So I just kind of want to break down what we do know about Traci's case. So we're going to start. I'm going to zoom in here. So again, we have, here is where she was last seen at the intersection of Red Lawn. There's a BP gas station there. She was living at the time in Eclectic. So she would have taken, here, I'll zoom in. Okay. So at the time, let me zoom in let's start at the BP, which is now a shell, I believe. Okay, so her mom had given her card to go down to the gas station to, she was just out running errands. She was filling up her gas tank. She had her daughter with her, and she, she was known here. That's why people, spotted her. This was a known gas station that she frequented. And, there were witnesses there. They said that she was washing her car, and that she was also arguing with what appeared to be about 2 to 3 people, but said that when she left, they went one way and she went the other, and it wasn't like they left at the same time. Traci pulled out and left, and then not so long after that, this car pulled out and went in another direction. They do not know what we publicly do not know what the argument was about. As far as I can tell, we don't know, or the witnesses did not know what the argument entailed. They could just tell by the situation that it was an argument. You can, those are the vibes, and I'm not sure. So again, there were 2 to 3 people that she was arguing with before she left. The road that her car was on, so we have the BP gas station. She leaves from there and she travels on 231. Let's zoom out there. Okay, there we go. Okay, so she travels on 231 until she gets to, there we go, 231 until she comes up here, and then that's where she kind of divides. Now, at the time, again, 23 years ago, as you can see that we have eclectic over here, and there are 3 main roads that you can take to get you there to eclectic. From what I've seen, and 170 is Old Georgia. This is Old Georgia in the middle here. From what I've seen and read, that normally Traci would take this route, but at the time it was under some pretty heavy construction. So her family and those closest to her believe that that's just not the route that she would have taken at the time. She would either have taken 9 or 14. I think 14 is the more favorable. 9 could be a possibility, but it was just more out of the reach there a little bit. So I would assume that, and so many others assume that she would have taken 14 straight in there. But her car was found on Old Georgia Road on 170. It was not ever stated what direction that these 2 to 3 people that she was alleged to be arguing with, it never stated which direction they went. When they found Traci's car, her windows were left cracked and her keys were turned to the radio. In 2018, during a search of a body of water, so around there you can see, they didn't make it public which I'm sure, they just didn't want people coming in and contaminating. So I am not going to go too into that, but there are some bodies of water around quarries in the area that could definitely be and have been one of the areas that they checked. So in 2018, they were searching a body of area that they had never searched before. And DEA Randall Houston said that they found potential evidence. When he was asked about it again a year later, he, I will give it to him. I'm not trying to say anything when I go about this. From what I've seen, he was really torn up. He really, really thought that the evidence they found around the quarry was really just going to be the breaking that one piece of evidence, the piece of the puzzle that they've been missing. So from what I say, he's invested from what I those are the vibes that I get. And forensics, as of back in 2018-19, they still have the evidence. They still had it at the time that DA Houston spoke on this. And also, I want to point this out. When he did speak of this, he kind of spoke directly to these persons of interest, And he said, no matter the amount of time, we know pretty much we know who you are, and it's just a matter of time, and something's going to happen, and we're going to come get you. And when he did, he stated that also there were at least 2 to 3 persons of interest. Now, if you remember back at the BP incident, she was washing her car, and witnesses stated, you can still see the witnesses stated that Traci was, it appeared as though she was having a disagreement or getting in an argument with 2 to maybe 3 people. Now, you have Houston saying that there's 2 to 3 persons of interest that they've been watching, and pretty much called them out. You may be comfy, but your day's going to come, pretty much. And he also says that there are 2 to 3 suspects. So, one of the theories out there, and I don't really like to talk theories, but I think with everything, all the facts that I just went over, it's safe to say, and them searching the quarry back in 2018, and I think it's safe to say that it said that she went to the quarry and met somebody. It is also said, the way that her daughter was left, she was left pretty comfy. She was buckled on her seat. The windows are cracked, so she would, to appear to get plenty of air. They turned the keys to the radio setting so that, have some music and she could stay calm, to keep her calm. It appeared that maybe Traci left her this way and was planning on coming right back. But then again, her family and those closest say that Traci would never, that it just doesn't sound like something Traci would do. Which makes me wonder that if Traci did not get taken from the quarry, and she got taken from the car, did the person know her daughter? Yes, it's so heartbreaking that they took Traci, but on the other hand, they just did not have the heart to take her daughter as well. And it is also said that where her car was found on Old Georgia Road here, it was off the road on a side road, a little side road there. But how Traci's car was found, they were driving by morning. It's a busy road by all accounts from what I've seen. Morning hit, and you could see the car, it was off enough to where you could easily spot it at the same time. So I think that there was a reason for why it was left there. No, they maybe not wanted the car to be seen immediately, but I believe that they wanted it to be spotted for the little girl's sake, for her daughter's sake. But yes, that is a theory that she went to the pond, and just everything is adding up from what I've seen. So that is kind of what I'm going to go on, is those 3 people. I know that the Ellie have been very tight-lipped. They don't have, there's not really a timeline. We don't know a lot of details, but I think big details are BP 2 to 3 people arguing with Traci, and then the LEDA literally calls out 2 to 3 suspects. And then when they leave, they are said to go separate ways. Now, we don't know which way they went. And I was supposed to go talk about Traci a few nights ago, and the more I thought about it and the more I looked at it and the more it clicked. So Traci leaves, and we know that she goes down over here at 2:31. Okay. So if you notice that Redland Road here, let me just back out here so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, you got Redland Road. Redland Road, we're going to follow. Say they left in, we don't know. This is just strictly my opinion based off of what I realized. So you have Redland Road, and we're going to follow it. So you follow Redland Road up here, and then you take the side road, and lo and behold, it meets up to 14, the road that everybody says that Traci would have taken that night due to construction on 170 Old Georgia Road. So I just wanted to make that connection. You clearly see Redland Road come here, and then they meet here, and then Eclectic would be right up here. So her car was found over by Wetumpka. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Alabama, around this area. We don't think she would have taken 9. We don't think normally she would have taken 170 Old Georgia Road, but it was under construction at the time. So everybody, we don't think that she would take that road. We strongly, and everybody from what I've seen, believe that she would have taken Route 14. So it is very possible that even though, depending on, like I said, again, we do not know which direction these 2 to 3 people went, but as you can see, any direction, maybe except for down in these parts, there's very different directions that can all lead back to 14. I believe, she was traveling on 14 and possibly she was met here. I don't know. But all I know is when she was at BP, she was seen to be arguing with 2 to 3 people. Then in 2019, Houston calls out the people of interest. And when in doing so, he says that there are at least 2 to maybe 3 people. People say that they left in different directions, which could very, very, very possibly be true. But they could also have connected somewhere on 14. They could have connected somewhere on 231. So I just think that is a very, very odd piece. So that's where I have questions. My first being a month after Traci first went missing, they were pretty much beginning to call her case a cold one, a cold case. Yet they have been very, very tight-lipped. And I understand, that the public doesn't need to know everything. I really do. But I think after 23 years, they have been sitting on a lot of information, even though it doesn't seem like a lot of information. And I just ask myself, is there any possible way that they could release a timeline. I think that or anything, my point is, I think there's enough that we don't know that they could release something at this point and still withhold the integrity of the case. Have those specific details that only them and the people involved know, if it should come to that. I am no expert. That is just my opinion. Like I said, I understand why, but I also ask myself, after a certain time, something small could amount to something so huge. Yeah, I think that I want to try to come down with a spotlight or a timeline. If anybody out there is seeing this and you knew Traci or knew the situation, or especially the family, if you're watching this, please do not hesitate to reach out and we can talk about this. I would love to paint a nice little picture timeline of things. Because I would like to know, if they think that she met somebody out at the quarry, if she met somebody over there, regardless, were there any second car, like, did they feel like there were fresh tire marks out there? From what I know, that it was on a stone quarry. And did it seem like there was somebody, pulled up beside her? Her car was left there. If she was abducted, how did they take her? Here we go. Yeah, right there. They would get off of Redland and they would hit Fire Tower Road, and they could have met right up around here. Somebody could have been waiting for her there. There were plenty of roads that met back up. And then decided to come up on Old Georgia Road. If somebody knew her, they knew that she took that route, and maybe they didn't know that it was under construction and felt like it was a safe bet. You just never know. I wonder if her car seat was in her position. Did they have any DNA from the car? What was the argument about? I just wonder if any of these things can be released or talked about any further. I think there's something to the BP 2 to 3 and the Houston 2 to 3. I understand that they want to keep it tight-lipped. If anybody hears this, did anybody hear 2 to 3 people talking about an argument they got in with Traci that day? We don't need no specifics, but, to corroborate, call it in, let them know, speak up, because they could really use a lot of information. I think I kind of went over and my biggest thing with the whole timeline thing is because if you think about it, Traci was filling up her tank and washing her car. It says in the afternoon of April 2026. Her car was found in the early morning hours on Old Georgia Road, early morning. So, but when people got there, it did not appear that the child had been left there for that long. So there's a pretty big gap there that we don't know about. And I understand, but I just wonder if anything in between that gap could be known to spark somebody saying, hey, I seen that. Oh, I heard that. Oh, and just see if it could come across new leads. So I think that would be awesome. If anybody sees this and you want to reach out to me, please reach out. Like I said, Traci has a group, Justice for Traci Pittman Kegley. They're pretty active. They keep it updated. Secrets True Crime Pass posted a post on her. Podcast Post did a little that is a tongue twister, y'all. I'm sorry. Secrets True Crime Podcast made a post about Traci, saying 23 years ago today, April 26, 1998, Traci Pittman Kegley disappeared. She was 30 years old at the time of her disappearance. Someone knows what happened to Traci, and I beg you to come forward and give her precious mother, father, and her beautiful daughter some peace. They have waited so long, and it's time to let go of some of those secrets. If you have any information, there are plenty of people. I urge you to go to Justice for Traci Pittman Kegley page, and please do not put it out there. Do it privately. The smallest detail could lead to the biggest thing, especially in cases that seem like there's a lot of information, but there's not really a lot of information being put out. I would like to have something new updated, and better yet, I would much rather have Traci come home to her family before April 26, 2022. This is Ash with TC Spotlight Talks. Until next time, please stay safe and have a good night.